Welcome back to Elevation 44, where we discuss all things energy and how to use that energy to turn your vision into reality. It's your girl B, and I have missed you guys. I really have. Like, the braids are out, the puff is in. Well, let's see how long that lasts. But I really have missed you guys, and I have been just pondering on the kind of content I want to bring, and I just really want to hit it heavy. I feel like I spent 2019 just really trying out things, testing things out, finding my voice, and I'm really ready to bring it in 2020 for you guys. So I wanted to talk about something that I know that we have been collectively dealing with. I know that I've been going through it, so I know that you guys have been going through it as well. And what I want to talk about are Ascension symptoms, okay? I know that some of you are new to this channel. If you are, welcome, so happy to have you. But for those of you that have been rocking with me for a while, you know that I've been talking about us collectively, how the earth is moving into a higher level of vibration, and collectively we are also moving into a higher level of vibration. And so because of that, we are experiencing some symptoms. We have some uncomfortable sensations sometimes, and both physically and spiritually and emotionally, mentally, that we are dealing with as a result of us moving into from one place to the other. If you think of it in terms of like if you were physically moving locations, like your home from one location to other, when you're moving, it's not a very comfortable time. It's a time of transition and change, and things are all out of place, and there's a lot to be done, and there's physical labor. You have to pack, you have to unpack, you have to schedule the move. So there is a lot going on, and that's kind of what we're dealing with in terms of this shift from one, vibrational level to a higher vibrational level. So let's just backtrack a little bit to 2019 just to kind of understand why we are here right now. So 2019 was a year of transition. And I say that because that was almost like us preparing for the move, right? We were getting the quotes on the movers. We were scouting out the place that we wanted to live and looking at the neighborhood and everything like that. So 2019 spent, the energy wise, it was a time for us to prepare for a lot of the changes that were going to be coming in 2020. Now, 2020 is just going to be a lot of change and transformation for us, collectively and individually. But really collectively, we will be feeling and seeing the results of a change. And I don't want you guys to be afraid of this change, because it's actually good changes, even though they don't feel great while they're happening. Sometimes it is actually bringing us collectively closer in alignment with where we want to be, as a complete society, as humanity, right? Okay, so 2019 did spend, time preparing us, kind of a lot of the things that we were doing in 2019, like shadow work and, deep diving. And, a lot of us were, a lot of people were waking up and starting to question things and, really taking a step back from religion. And a lot of these things, the structures and kind of tearing down the ideas and a lot of things that we were programmed with from the time of birth, we started to kind of move out of those confinements of mentality, right? And so that is pretty much what 2019 was doing for us. Now in 2020, there are a lot of major planetary alignments and transits that are happening that is ushering transformational energy, okay? The first being with Saturn and the Pluto conjunction, which is actually going to be happening, I want to say it's January 12th or 13th. And so that's just in a couple of days. But we all know that it doesn't necessarily, we don't feel the change exactly as it's happening on the exact date. You actually, as these planets are moving into alignment, as they're transiting, we start to feel the effects of that, well in advance. And especially for energy sensitives, those that are really in tune with everything, you feel it right away when those energy shifts take place. So let's talk a little bit about the Pluto and Saturn conjunction so we can understand more about where we're going and why we're feeling these as symptoms. And I'll get into the actual physical and spiritual symptoms that you may be having at this time. To break down each of the planetary energies will give you a better understanding. Now, Saturn is the truth bringer, okay? Saturn is also known as the karma, like I guess you could say the god of karma that comes in and serves up karma. So truth is always going to be exposed with Saturn. A lot of people speak negatively or speak fearly about Saturn's energy because Saturn is very restrictive, but Saturn energy is very beneficial because if you understand that Saturn is putting in place restrictions in order to advance us. So it's not the restriction in the sense of holding us back, but it's putting railings so that there is a clear focus on what we need to be doing and where we need to be going. So if Saturn is coming in to course correct so that we stay on the right path, Pluto is bringing in transformation and destruction of old patterns, of old ways of thinking, of old ways of government, and anything that is not serving us collectively. So we're going to start to see this on a global level. Everything that is being in the dark is going to come to light during this time. So those people, those of you who have been diving deep into your shadow work and dealing with those darker aspects of yourself, you have nothing to worry about going into this new energy. Those who weren't doing the work, those who weren't facing the darkness, those who weren't facing the shadow, and this goes for big businesses, government, anyone in the spotlight, anyone taking advantage and doing things in the dark, it will be exposed during this time. This is what this energy is going to bring in for us. And again, it is a great thing because it's creating the new way. It's creating the new path. And the old way of doing things, that old energy, all of that stuff is getting cleared out because we're moving into a higher vibration, and that stuff cannot come into where we're going. Like, it is just not going to be able to, survive there. So that's why this is the kind of the process of flushing things out. Now, for those of you, again, who have been following me for a minute, you hear me talk about we're moving into a period as the earth is raising in vibration and our consciousness is expanding and we're rising with it. There is going to be a great divide, right? You're going to be having the haves and the have-nots of the spiritual world. And that means that you're going to have this high conscious, high energetic level or high vibrational group, right? And that's what I want to say. And then it's going to be this very low consciousness, very low vibrational, just really destructive group. And there's not going to be a middle ground. Like I've said this over and over again. There's not going to be a middle ground. You're going to have to fall on one side or the other. So it's either you do the work and you come along, or you're going to end up down here in the bottom, right? And again, it's not going to be a pretty place to be for anyone in that group. It is what it is. With all that said, these energies are working in our favor to bring harmony here on Earth and to put us in the right alignment of where we're going collectively. And that's hence what we have Ascension for, right? And this is why we're experiencing Ascension. And Ascension is literally just moving from one vibrational level to another. So we're just going into a higher vibrational energy level. And so with that, we can experience some symptoms, and I'm gonna get into those symptoms now. Let's start with the physical symptoms that we can feel. Now, like I said, I had been going through it and I was like, what the heck? Like, it took me a little bit to put the pieces together, and I was just like, why do I feel this way? I feel moody, I feel da-da-da, like my nose is dripping, but I'm not sick. Like, what's going on? Am I having allergies? Like, it was just like, I was like, this is crazy. And then I started to hear other people on YouTube, on my friends, talking to my friends, just watching how people operated around me, watching, seeing what people were posting on Instagram. And I started to put everything together, and I was like, oh, collectively, we are feeling ascension, and we all are having different symptoms of ascension. And, people can't quite put their finger on what is going on with them, but this is what's happening. The first thing that a lot of people usually recognize that there's something going on with them is that they'll have changes in their sleeping patterns or their sleeping habits. So this can go two ways. It can go, well, I'm getting no sleep at all. Like, I'm not sleeping. I can sleep 3, 4, 5 hours and then I'm up, or it could be, I'm sleeping all day, and every chance I get, I'm sleeping, and no matter how much sleep I get, I just don't feel satisfied. I'm still tired. So it can go either way, but there are definitely changes in your sleeping patterns. The second one is changes in appetite. So you can be finding yourself not hungry, not eating very little, needing very little to sustain you. Or again, the opposite of that could be, you could be feeling like super hungry all the time. You're eating all the time, and it's just unlike you. That can also extend to water intake, right? You just find yourself not drinking as much water, just kind of deprived, and your habits being off fully when it comes to your eating habits. Another thing that you can also be facing is headaches. Like, they just come out of nowhere. Like, you could be a person who doesn't even deal with headaches, on a normal basis. For me, I don't ever really get headaches. I don't take medicine for headaches. I don't deal with headaches. And all of a sudden I would find my head pounding, or a dull aching sensation in my head. And I'm just kind of like, what the hell is going on here? So if you're having headaches, that is, another sign or symptom that you're feeling the ascension or you're going through ascension. Okay, so number 4 is a big one. This is another one a lot of people tend to feel, is cold-like symptoms. So you'll feel like you have a runny nose. Well, you'll feel like you're catching a cold, like you have a runny nose, like you have kind of like that stuffiness in your head, that you may have some body aches, just not feeling well, and it never actually progresses into anything. So it's not like you can say, oh, I'm coughing, I'm sneezing. You just kind of feel all the aches, and you feel all the symptoms of when it's coming on, but it actually never fully comes on to be a cold or a flu or allergies or anything like that. So it just is kind of that weird space where you're just like, why is my nose dripping, but I'm not sick? So that is one thing that I notice a lot of people, and then they chuck it up to allergies and say, oh, well, it might be allergies, it might be the weather change. No, it's ascension symptoms most likely, especially on this collective scale. Going into the next thing is increase sensitivity in your senses. So vision, okay? Like your vision might be blurry, or it might be super sharp. Hearing, your taste buds, touch, smell, everything is on, your senses are, heightened during this time. So that is something that, you also probably wouldn't even put, your finger on to being one of the ascension symptoms. You can also feel increased sensitivity around temperatures. So you can be hot, you can be cold, like not like you normally are. You can be experiencing hot flashes, or you can just be cold all the time for no reason. You can also experience energy bursts, right? Bursts where all of a sudden you just get a burst of energy and you're like, where did this come from? Or you can get a burst of creativity. This is actually a time where a lot of people are super, super creative. And lastly, you can be very sensitive to not only food, but your environment, like everything. You're literally like, the things that may have not bothered you that you ate a week ago, all of a sudden don't sit right in your system, or your environment all of a sudden is getting to you in a way that it didn't before. So you can have sensitivities around food, around your environment, as your body is feeling these changes and kind of pushing away the things again that no longer serve us as we move from one vibrational level into a higher vibrational level. So again, not everything, all those habits and all those things can't come with us. So sometimes these symptoms are helping us purge those things. Now let's get into some of the spiritual symptoms that you can be feeling when an ascension is happening, okay? Number one, mood changes. You can feel moody, just mood swings. You can just, I don't know how else to say it, but you can just be moody, okay? With that, too, you can also be feeling introverted, wanting to be secluded or be isolated and just be to yourself and spend time alone, just thinking and just, not really engaging in everyone's energies, kind of detaching yourself from different relationships, from different people, from different environments. You just want to be alone, right? You just kind of want to be in your own space with your own energy. A huge one that a lot of people see is synchronicities. Time synchronicities. You look up, it's 444, it's 333, it's 1111. You look at the license plate in front of you, it says 555, right? You're looking up at the building sign and the phone number is 8888, So the synchronicities, not only with just numbers, but in patterns, synchronicities can come in different ways. So seeing synchronicities is a huge sign of ascension. Apologies for that, but my camera died, so I don't know what's going on here, but I'm gonna get the rest of this out to you. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is that you can feel unfocused. Sometimes you can feel unfocused, you can feel spacey, like your head's foggy, just like you can't think very clearly. Another thing that you can also experience is kind of like time is just, there are chunks of time that are just missing. You are having, yes, time is moving faster, especially as the earth is spinning faster and the vibrations are increasing, but you find yourself like pockets of time are just gone and you have no recollection of what happened during that time. You can also have certain premonitions, right? Feeling like something is going to happen, or, just not being able to place your finger on it, but just, feeling like something is going to happen. So premonitions are actually huge during this time. Another thing that's huge in conjunction with that is dreaming. So you can have prophetic dreams, you can have vivid dreams, you can get a lot of major spiritual downloads at this time that help you, see kind of a little bit more clearly on what is happening. Lastly, you can have an increase of your psychic abilities. So if you're clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, you basically can have an increase in those abilities and an increase in overall intuition. So this is a great time to tap into your intuition, to spend time in meditation, and to just really take the time to hear and see what's going on with you within. I want to say that all of these symptoms can last anywhere from a few days to a few weeks, depending on the type of energy that, is going on, right? That's happening at the time. And with the, like I said, we're just going into eclipse season. We've had the solar eclipse in December, late December. We're having a lunar eclipse this week. We have the Saturn and Pluto conjunction. All of this stuff and the full moon is all of it is transformation. These are big, heavy hitting energies. So I suspect that we're going to be feeling these ascension symptoms for a couple of weeks. And sometimes we can bob in and out of it. We feel the symptoms, we kind of come out, pop our heads up, and then we're back underneath again. So make sure that you're, you know, listening to your body, listening to your spirit, treating yourself well at this time. And again, you know, I just wanted to make sure that you're aware that what you're going through, you're not crazy, and a lot of us are going through it together, but we're going to be in a better place because of it. Okay, so if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, or, you know, share this with somebody who you feel would benefit from the information. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, I invite you to at this time, and I will see you guys in the very next video. Peace.